Luckily, no one watches your lives.
All right. Hello, everybody. Let me just get Instagram rocking and rolling here. This is my last week. I'm going to do Instagram. We're just going to move everybody to YouTube. So let's see. All right. We're going to go this way. Need a little prop for this. That's better. All right. Hey guys, welcome. Monday Night Lives with me, Dr. Jarod, holistic chiropractor. I love giving you advice on how to take care of your body, how to maybe support your body so that it can heal itself and you can crawl your way out of and heal from whatever you're dealing with, okay? To be clear, this isn't medical advice, but it is support for you. And when you support the body heals itself, okay? So for my Instagram people, the goal of these lives is to grow my YouTube, actually, which is quite small. So this is the last week I'm going to be doing it on Instagram. So please, if you've been used to watching on Instagram, please do go to YouTube to watch the live starting next week. We'll post a link in my story so that you're reminded. No worries, but please pop on over there and join us. It will be fun. Okay. All right. So without further ado, let's get started. I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. Hope everyone's revved up for the Christmas season. And let's get started. Okay. So first question, very popular buzzword question going on right now, especially when everyone is gaining unwanted weight. Everyone is pre-diabetic, diabetic, fatty liver, heart disease, etc. Someone is asking, thoughts on microdosing GLP-1s. They're starting to hear two sides and they want to be more educated. All right. So, 1 second. Someone asked another question. Let me just add it to my list here. All right. Okay. GLP-1s. So, I like peptides, very fascinating. So the GLP-1 is a type of peptide that has to do with weight loss, right? So Ozempic is one, semaglutide is the generic name for Ozempic, which is the brand name. Here's something about peptides too. Peptides are naturally found in the body. And so when you're injecting a peptide, which are these shots, you are just putting a ton of this peptide into your body. It's not natural in the sense that it is not your body producing it, and it's also considered synthetic because they're making copies of the natural one in the lab and then you're injecting it. So it's not like it's not natural, but it's not unnatural in the sense that it's not a pharmaceutical. Okay, so it's like this is natural, this is pharmaceutical, peptides are the gray area between. Okay. Microdosing them, so here there's three main GLP-1s that are available right now. Okay, semaglutide is Ozempic. The reason Ozempic is patented is not because they can patent a natural compound, but because they patented the delivery system. So that's why they patented the delivery system, and since they were able to do that, they have then created a patent around the natural or gray area natural peptide. Okay, semaglutide has one cellular mechanism. Okay, and that is the GLP-1. Okay, and it acts upon the cells in only one way. Okay, there's another one called tirzepatide or Zepbound, I think is one name brand of it. There might be another, but that tirzepatide acts upon two cellular receptors, and I like that a little bit more because it's a bit more well-rounded. Semaglutide, all it does is it just makes you feel hungry. Makes you feel full, right? So you don't want to eat anything. So you're starving yourself a little bit, okay, which is why you lose weight. Okay, that's one piece of the puzzle. Appetite control, right? Tirzepatide acts a little bit more on the metabolic system, so it's helpful often in helping people with diabetes and reversing their reversing their high insulin or their hemoglobin A1C markers, right? So it acts a little bit more well-rounded. And then thirdly, which this one is still being studied and has yet to be approved by the FDA, it's called retatrutide. Okay, retatrutide has 3 mechanisms of action on your cells. The third one is actually where it actually revs up the fat burning mechanism. So it has the appetite suppressant that semaglutide has. It has the metabolic repair that tirzepatide has, and it has a little bit fat burning mechanism as well. So that one is actually why that one is my favorite, because it is the most well-rounded. And if you're going to do one, I think it is the most logical from the research, from the way physiology works, from the way your body works, to investigate that one. Okay. Here's the thing though. For my patients, I don't recommend GLP-1s until they have mastered their diet. They've been lifting weights 3 times a week and they're taking their supplements. Okay. At that point, I think there are times when using a GLP-1 is a reasonable next step. Okay. Because if we're going to save someone from a liver disease, or if we're going to save someone from diabetes or a heart problem, or they still need to lose 100 pounds and they have plateaued for a long time, then at that point, I think microdosing a GLP-1, specifically retatrutide, is reasonable. However, there are gastrointestinal side effects with them. So it slows motility, basically it slows digestion. So you need to be careful. So you need to support your digestive tract. You need to make sure that you have healthy digestion before you start a GLP-1, or else you're going to make the problems that you already have worse. There are also some rare neurological symptoms, or, like peripheral neuropathy. There's been some cases of like eye vision problems. Again, because when you're starving the body too fast, sometimes tissue falls into disrepair. So that's why I'm a fan of microdosing and safe usage, more so than a lot of these, clinics. You go back a week later and they double your dose. You go back a week later and they increase the dose again, and then again and again and again and again. And before you know it, you're on 15 milligrams of tirzepatide once a week, which I think is way too much. Again, I do not inject peptides, but I'm just telling you what I know about them and what I've learned about them. I've been to peptide certification courses. I actually help clinics find a wholesale peptide distributor. So if you own a clinic and you are looking for a very high quality peptide to offer to your patients, I can help you. Anyways, so that's kind of my answer to that. I think it's very appropriate sometimes if you're already doing all the right things. The problem is with peptides, a lot of times people, or with GLP-1s, people are just doing it because as a lazy shortcut, and they're not doing any of the lifestyle stuff of diet change, supplementation, and lifting weights. If you're not doing those 3 things, you are going to lose fat and also muscle mass. And when you lose muscle mass, you have less of that fat burning body material, because that's what muscle does. It burns fat. So over time, if you're on Ozempic or tirzepatide, whatever, over the course of time, and you're not retaining your muscle and you're losing muscle, you will actually end up worse off than before, because you will lose a lot of fat, but you will also lose some muscle. And then when you go off of it, you have less ability to keep the weight off than when you started. So that's what we have to be really careful of. That's my thoughts on GLP-1s. If you are interested as a patient in GLP-1s, I have a really good company where they help. It's basically a telehealth company where they help you, but they're not crazy with dosing. I've vetted them. I really like them. They're safe. They're also adding another peptide later that's not GLP-1, but that's more for the immune system, which I think is fascinating. That's one of my favorite peptides, because sometimes herbs just don't cut it. it's kind of crazy it's not crazy for me to say that, right? It's just like chiropractic can't fix a broken bone. Sometimes people are in such a state of emergency and immune distress that herbs are not enough. And that's okay for people to say, right? There's a place for modern medicine. My dad's a surgeon, foot and ankle surgeon, if you don't know. So I have respect for that wing of healthcare, for the doctors, for the practitioners. In terms of the systems and the insurance companies and the bureaucracy, not so much, but that's a whole other topic. So I'll say, if you are interested as a patient and you want to explore microdosing GLP-1s, just send me a message and I will send you over the link where you can explore that option with a practitioner licensed in your state to do that for you. I would love to help you with the lifestyle side of that if you need help. But yeah, so all right. Next question. Easy steps to heal a leaky gut that work for most people. Diet, supplements, how long, what should we do? Okay, so leaky gut is super, super common. Leaky gut can have, basically, why is leaky gut even a problem, right? Leaky gut used to be considered pseudoscience by the medical career, or intestinal permeability is the, medical term. But basically what happens is your gut can become so inflamed. Your gut is a very, very, especially in the small intestine, there's a very thin layer of single cells. And their job is to absorb nutrition appropriately, open the doors in the right way to let what they want to come in, right? However, if there's a lot of infection or inflammation or even stress, just if you go through a stressful time, right, your digestion gets disrupted. Some of us get constipated. Some of us get diarrhea when we're really stressed, right? So we feel it in our guts when they're stressed. And when that leaky gut happens, right, it opens up and the doors are kind of just swung open and stuff leaks into the bloodstream that is not properly processed. And so it doesn't belong in that form in the bloodstream. And when that happens, then the immune system's like, what are you doing? You don't belong here. And the immune system goes on high alert. And that's how all autoimmunity begins. That's how a lot of joint pain, inflammation begins, brain fog, right? Because the immune system is at war because the gut is leaky. And so if you don't fix that leaky gut, if you don't go to the root where the dumpster fire started and mend that problem, you're going to have a cascade of problems going on around the body. Okay. So how do you heal the leaky gut? Couple of options. Okay. In terms of like what to eat, I would definitely avoid wheat and gluten and glyphosate. The reason why glyphosate and wheat and gluten have they make the leaky gut even leakier. It's like throwing gasoline on the dumpster fire. So definitely avoid that if you don't want to make it worse. Modulate stress. Okay, we're all stressed, but just try to learn to deal with it. That will help keep the leaky gut from getting worse. And then in terms of supplementation, a couple of my favorite supplements to help heal a leaky gut. First of all, you have to consider, okay, how is my gut microbiome? Do I have a lot of bad guys? If I have a lot of bad guys, they're constantly making the fire burn brighter. Okay, some things to help modulate the bad guys. There's a product from Gaia Herbs called Microbiome Cleanse that I really like to use. You can find that on my full script in my bio on Instagram. It's called Microbiome Cleanse. You can take 2 capsules twice a day approximately. That will help balance the microbiome. Another thing is just an enzyme like Multizyme or Zymex2, both of those from Standard Process, on an empty stomach. They'll help basically clean up a lot of the debris that's floating around in there. And then another couple things that you could try, there's a product called Pituitrophin PMG. The pituitary gland is the gland that releases growth hormone. Growth hormone is what tells the body to grow new tissue, to heal tissue, right? So Pituitrophin PMG on an empty stomach can help the pituitrophin, can help heal it and regulate it, so it's sending the amount of the correct amount of growth hormone to the gut to heal the leaky gut lining. So that's another place I would start. Myrrh forte, MYRRH, what they gave baby Jesus at the nativity. Myrrh is a great herb to take on an empty stomach because it actually stimulates tissue regeneration and proliferation. So that's an herb that does it while you support the pituitary, to send the message to do the job, right? So that's what I would start with. Another product that's really easy and also great for kids is called Ion Gut. You can find that at my full script link as well. Ion Gut, you can work your way up to 3 teaspoons per day. What it does is it's like a lot of minerals that help heal the leaky gut lining as well. So that's what I would start. Incorporate some probiotic foods like kimchi, sauerkraut. If you really want to heal the leaky gut, you can cook cabbage on the stove in a big pot of water, or ideally organic cabbage. Let the water cool, get the cabbage out, make something with the cabbage, but sip the cabbage water. There's a compound in the cabbage, and I forget what it's called, but it helps heal and seal up the leaky gut as well. And that's really cheap, free. Maybe it doesn't taste that great. Add a little salt, a little seasoning, whatever you need to do. But that's a really nice at-home thing you can do to help you with your leaky gut. Okay. I would do that for like 3 months. See how it goes. Okay. Fasting can also help repair the leaky gut. So if you don't want to do anything, you can just fast 5 days. If you haven't fasted before, I don't recommend doing a water fast 5 days right off the bat, but maybe work your way up to it. That will help your body create a lot more stem cells to go and heal the gut lining. Okay. All right. Next question. Someone says, just had a miscarriage after blood work came back great. Feeling so icky and want to do a cleanse. What would you recommend? First of all, I'm really sorry you had a miscarriage after blood work. I'm so sorry you had a miscarriage. And it's not uncommon for miscarriages to happen even when everything seems okay. So I think it's great that you want to do a cleanse, because a clean body is going to have a better chance at a healthy pregnancy than one that has not been prepared in that way. I would recommend my liver cleanse. I'm going to sell it. I'm going to open up the sales again after Christmas. So stay tuned. If you want to join us January 12th, you can join us. It'll be great. I already have a group of 10 people joining, and I do cap it. So when I open for sales, let me know, and we can get you started. Okay. But I think that would be a great, gentle liver cleanse for you to do. Okay. It also has a bit of emotional support too, and I'm sure that would be helpful for you. Okay. Next question. What would you recommend for a male age 34 that is looking for energy and motivation? That sounds like a low testosterone case. So I would honestly check testosterone, and then I would evaluate, do you always have Bluetooth on your phone, and is it by your genitalia? And because that can cause your testosterone to tank. Okay. No, it sounds crazy, but it's true. Also, are you eating enough red meat? Do you have enough B vitamins? I want to see your labs. Are you anemic? How's your iron levels? How are your B12 and folate markers? Do you have a high inflammation? High inflammation in the cardiovascular system will tank your testosterone, but it'll also just make you inflamed and not have a lot of energy. So those are some things that I would check. And then, of course, testosterone supporting supplements like Orchex from Standard Process, Tonka Ali from MediHerb. That's pretty much it. If you just want energy support, like if it's not a testosterone issue, ashwagandha forte from MediHerb would be great. And then you could do even like Korean ginseng, rhodiola. Those are all some herbs that will really help you have more energy. But usually when there's low energy in age like 34, something's wrong. There's usually like an immune infection that's being really sneaky that you're having a hard time clear. And so it's kind of zapping you of your energy. Maybe it's been there a long time. Maybe you're chronic Lyme, maybe you're chronic Epstein-Barr, maybe there's mold exposure. There's something going on. So I would recommend you can meet with me, you can meet with someone at my office, but I would recommend doing a bit more investigation if everything I just said doesn't seem to move the needle. Everyone's so individual, guys. It's not formulaic. Like I was just reading this post the other day, and it was a homeopath. She's an expert, and basically she was talking about how like the plug and play, like, oh, if you have this symptom, take this. I mean, you can find that on ChatGPT, right? But a lot of times it doesn't work, because you have to analyze the entire body system to find the exact thing that's missing. And that's where expertise, good practitioners, that's where they shine. And that's where they're going to be insanely busy, because anyone can try, what makes sense here. But it takes a whole other level of skill to analyze the body, analyze the symptoms, and actually figure out, oh, this symptom is actually caused by this way thing over here. And you actually need this to fix this, to go downstream to fix what you're feeling. Okay. So I don't know if that made sense, but that's my answer to that question. All right. Someone asked me, what is my favorite pillow that I recommend? Struggle to find a good pillow, side sleeper. The pillow I like is from bioposture.com. What's pretty cool about this one is that it actually has an infrared reflective surface. It sounds uncomfortable, but it's not. But basically, we all emit a little bit of infrared, right? And this pillow, when you lay on it, the body emits a little bit of heat or infrared frequency, and this pillow reflects your infrared that you emit back into your own system. Sorry about that. My cats are destroying something. Anyways, when that infrared energy is reflected back into you, it's naturally anti-inflammatory. So I like the pillow because of its supports, but I also like that it reflects and is anti-inflammatory while you lay on it, which is pretty cool. So if you're experiencing pain from just like sleeping or not having the right pillow, it's not because you're getting older. It's not because the pillow's wrong always. A lot of times it's because you're just inflamed and your joints are deteriorating. And if you don't do something about it, it's only going to get worse. And so I know that may sound harsh, but it's true. When you were a kid, you could sleep anywhere without any pain, right? When you were a teenager or in your 20s, you could sleep anywhere without any pain, right? So the problem is not you don't have the right pillow. The problem is you are degenerating at a rate faster than you are caring for yourself. So I challenge you to care for yourself as well as find perhaps a better pillow. But a better pillow is not going to fix inflammation and degeneration. It's only going to make you a bit more comfortable until the degeneration inflammation catches up to your last solution. So, all right. Someone says chronic UTIs in an older woman. Okay, I don't know the age here, but I have a patient. She's in her 70s. She was always doing the UTI strips and checking, and she was always positive for bacteria. Let's see how old she is. 1 second. She's 77 years old. And we were working together for quite some time, and we were using herbs like echinacea, golden seal, antigraphis, artemisinin, uva ursi, cranberry complex, a lot of different herbs like that. And she had positive test strips for bacteria for like 20 years. And we got her bacteria free, which was really cool. The problem with sometimes with older patients is they're also sometimes on a steroid if there's any autoimmunity or things like that. She was. So we were working with an immune suppressant while also trying to clear out infection at the same time. So it was a little tricky, but those are things I would try. I mean, you can try D-mannose, right? I also like Cataplex ACP to support the bladder lining and really anything with a mucosal lining, right? So think throat, sinuses, lungs, bronchial, trachea, bladder, right? Those all have mucous membrane linings, and Cataplex ACP is great at supporting that. And then my favorites for UTI, like I said, are Golden Seal from MediHerb, Artemisinin Forte from MediHerb. That's like for real strong stuff. Echinacea is great, one of my favorite herbs. It's safe, anyone can take it, even kids, and it helps modulate the immune system response and helps clear stuff out. So that's where I would start with those. If those don't work, of course, we can help you in the clinic. Next question. Is there any real way to increase HRV? HRV is heart rate variability. It is a measurement of how adaptable is your immune system to what's happening in your environment. Your eyes or your body sees something, your body then needs to respond to that external stimulus. That rate and ability to adapt and respond dictates if you're healthy or not, right? If it's hot outside and my body responds appropriately, I'll be fine. If it's hot outside and my body doesn't respond, I could die of overheating, right? That's a dramatic example, but that's heart rate variability. Heart rate variability and nervous system health happens when you have good hydration, plenty of electrolytes, plenty of nutrition, good sleep, and chiropractic care. And then just because chiropractic care stimulates the nervous system, and not only stimulates it, but regulates it. So whether you're wired up here or whether you're down here, adjustments combs through the tangles of the nervous system, helps reorganize it, helps it adapt better to the environment. And so that's what I'd recommend. That's a really great way to increase HRV. Also, pulse electromagnetic field, which is a mat that you can lay on and basically sends pulses into your body. I'm not a huge fan of most of the at-home units. I have a big pulse PEMF in my office, and you feel it in your body. It'll make you twitch. But what it does is it's sending healing electromagnetic frequencies into the body, which sounds crazy, but we are electrical beings, right? The Bible talks about how we're children of light, right? And so we have frequency in us. And a nerve impulse, a nerve signal is electric, right? That's why you'll feel numb. Or if someone, God forbid, becomes paralyzed, nothing below that segment of spinal injury works because the electrical system was cut off. The wire was clipped. So PEMF helps heal and restore the electrical energy of the body. And when that happens, when you have a lot of electrical energy in your nervous system, you have more chance at having a higher HRV. So, all right. Next, healing process. What does that look like for an irregular EKG and heart strain symptoms? All right. That is a great question. Here's what I like to do for heart support. Okay. The heart is an electrical muscle. It responds to the electrical signal sent to it, and it contracts with the electrical impulse. To support the electrical impulse and rhythm of the heart, specifically rhythm, I use Cataplex B Core, which is a B vitamin support the nerves, which support the electrical impulse to the heart. So if there's a plenty of calming B vitamins nourishing that pathway, the heart will have a regular beat, more chance at a regular beat. It supports the regular beat of the heart. So I like that. There is another product called Cardiotrophin PMG that helps pull the inflammation away from the heart. And then also, what I would also recommend, calcium lactate and Cataplex F. Those are also really good to nourish the muscle in the heart because muscles contract using calcium. And Cataplex F is a fat that helps put the calcium into the muscle. And so whenever you contract, that's why when you have like twitching in the muscle or when you have muscle cramps, a lot of times magnesium or calcium, which are similar or competing, they can help alleviate muscle problems. So think of your heart as a muscle too. So if it's spasming, right, it's either the nerve that's going to the heart that is not working properly or doesn't have enough supply to work properly, or there's not enough calcium and nourishment within the muscle to respond properly. I've had patients have EKGs that normalize from being on just nutritional support. I'm not claiming that I heal the heart, but when you give the body what it needs, it heals and regulates itself. I've had patients who their ejection fraction, so ejection fraction is a measurement of how much blood does the heart pump out of itself with every beat. I've had their ejection fraction improve from regular nutrition targeted towards the heart, which their doctors had told them was impossible. So because of genetic abnormalities and of things they were born with, problems with the heart. And after being on heart support, it improved. It's amazing. So that's probably enough on that. Let me know if you have any more questions, but those are things you can try. So Cardiotrophin PMG, Cataplex B Core, calcium lactate, Cataplex F. If you start there, that will be really awesome. I mean, there's a broad spectrum general heart support called Cardio Plus, but in my opinion, it's a little bit, you would probably do that after you do the other four, and you would do that one just for maintenance. So let me know if that helps or if you have any other questions, but that's where I would start with that. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining. I got a question. What is a good probiotic for kids? There's a couple of them. For little kids, I like the infant probiotic from Designs for Health. It's in a little packet, and it's actually, you can just put it in their bottle or in whatever they're eating, but you can do that anywhere from really 0 to 4 years old. So I'll use that a lot with my little baby patients that are having trouble with like spitting up, bowel movements, or colic, even eczema, because a good microbiome can help skin recovery as well. So I'll do that. And then Another option that I like is called Megaspore. That's one of my favorite probiotics. And so I would start with like half a capsule with that for kids. You're going to have to add it to something. I don't really have a good chewable probiotic. I think there is one from Claire Labs. Let me just double check here. I don't use it regularly, to be clear, but let me look here. Yeah, there is it's called Therbiotic, THER Biotic from Claire Labs, and they are chewable. So that would be a great one to use. Oh, and then in my office too, the one I do use a lot that's a chewable is called Flora Chewable from Energetics. That's a really great probiotic for patients that may need that. It has prebiotics as well. So it has vitamin C, prebiotics to give the bacteria something to munch on, which is great. And then it has the probiotic bacteria species in it as well. So that is a good probiotic for kids. Let's see what else here. Next question. Someone is asking, is there a cure for amyloidosis? That's when protein builds up in the body somewhere, usually it's in the brain, like amyloid plaque. There's not really a cure. Again, I don't cure anything. I support the body and the body heals it, right? So when we're talking about amyloid plaquing or amyloidosis building up in the body, it's a response to an irritation. So anything when the body deposits anything anywhere that doesn't belong, you have to wonder, why is it there? It's usually always three things: inflammation, infection, or toxins. Toxins can also include heavy metals, mold spores, things like that. So in my opinion, you clear out those, you give the body less of a reason to deposit amyloids, and over time they dissolve. You could try things like enzymes on an empty stomach to help break up the protein deposits in the body. That would be something to investigate. But I cannot say there's a cure, but good question. Let's see. Next question. Someone asked, do I have any advice for Achilles tendonitis? Okay, the Achilles tendon, which is the tendon on the back of the heel, usually there's dysfunction, undetected dysfunction of the calf muscles for many years before the tendon finally gets just really annoyed and gets really inflamed. So what I would recommend is you need to find someone who's good at muscle testing and who knows how to do a muscle test of the different calf muscles, the soleus and the gastrocnemius. If they know how to test those two calf muscles, they can find whichever muscle is spastic or weak, creating extra stress on the tendon. You also want to check calcaneus, which is the heel bone. You want to check the alignment of the calcaneus and the alignment of the knee, which are the two ends of that muscle. And the Achilles tendon attaches here, and then it attaches at the knee at the top. So if the knee's messed up, that's going to create a spasm. Or if the heel's messed up, it's going to create a spasm in the chain. So check all that. Which is hard to tell you how to do it at home, but that's what I would check first to fix the root cause. And then to treat the tendon directly, for any type of tendonitis, I like Shockwave. Shockwave, it's a really cool machine. You use ultrasound gel on the skin. And what's interesting about Shockwave is it only hurts over an area where it needs it. So if you don't need it, it doesn't feel like anything, then it goes click, 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 and it shoots a beam of sound into the body. And that beam of sound is potent enough that where there's scar tissue, it'll break up the scar tissue. Where there isn't, it just goes right through. So if you feel pain, it's like a strange cramping pain. It's very unique. That's the sensation of it breaking up the scar tissue. So plantar fasciitis, shoulder impingement problems, I'll use Shockwave on all these injuries, and it really helps restore soft tissue function. So I would recommend doing that for Achilles tendonitis. Find someone in your area. I would also recommend an anti-inflammatory like turmeric forte from MediHerb. That's really amazing. Best turmeric on the market. You could also look into something called Ligaplex 2, which has everything in it that your body needs to repair soft tissue tendon injuries. So I would do anti-inflammatory, give the body the raw material it needs to heal the tissue, check the function and structure of the entire chain, and then treat the area of pain with Shockwave. Boom, zoom. you'll be better in no time. And if you're not, that's weird. So, because that hits all the boxes of what's going on. So, you are welcome for explaining that. There's a lot of things going on usually in a tendon problem. Think about tendons. They're the cables that hold the muscle, right? So if the cable is stressed, something else is wrong, right? So that's how you have to think about it. But all right, my friends, ask me any questions else because that's the end of my submitted list. As usual, always submit your questions on my Instagram story. And next week, I will be answering them on YouTube. I will post the link to the YouTube live in my story. So pop on over, visit my deserted YouTube and let's populate it a little bit. Help me out. And as usual, if you ever need anything, me and my team, I have an awesome team that's growing every year, are here for you. And we can't wait to help you continue to take ownership and control of your health and help you need me and other doctors less. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great night.